Hello, Niles, and welcome. I'm your host, Charles Nelson, and for the next half hour, we're diving deep into the heart of Niles, Michigan, where small-town charm meets big-time spirit. From our beautiful parks and local events to the hidden gems that make our city unique, we'll explore what makes Niles the place to be. So sit back and let's celebrate everything Niles has to offer. You're listening to Hello, Niles on WNIL Radio, where community comes alive.
Sticky Spoon's Jam is more than just jams. It's about crafting connections, nurturing communities, and celebrating the vibrant spirit of Michigan. Veteran-owned, Sticky Spoons takes pride in sourcing the finest ingredients from neighboring farms and small businesses. Sticky Spoons creates one-of-a-kind products like their apricot basil preserve, strawberry jalapeno jam, and blueberry lavender preserve. Visit StickySpoonsJam.com for a full list of what they offer, shipping information, and where you can find them in stores.
Hello and welcome back. We're joined by Niles DDA Main Street board member and city council representative Jessica Nelson. Jessica, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to talk about the Hunter Ice Festival that just happened in downtown Niles. This was the 21st year of the Hunter Ice Festival. It has become a local favorite of people in and out of the Niles community. And so what can you tell us about what happened downtown during the Hunter Ice Festival?
It was quite amazing, actually. I was downtown for all of Saturday and got to witness just the droves of people that were there consistently throughout the day. And what's really awesome is we have a subscription to a service called Placer AI, and it allows us to access visitor data. And so it was really nice to be able to see all that foot traffic, but then also to go back and look at the data and see that there were over 10,000 people in downtown Niles on Saturday alone, which is about 86% higher than what a typical Saturday is downtown. It's a lot of people.
Awesome. And so all that people downtown, that had to translate into businesses being very happy about all those people downtown.
It sure did. There were some very happy businesses and very happy patrons. We'll talk about both of those. So I wanted to highlight that Pizza Transit had their best sales day ever in 38 years of business. The Niles Brewing Company had their second best day ever in sales. Jim's Smoke and Cafe tripled the business that they usually get on a Saturday. And Second and Main doubled the sales of their best day ever. Amazing. That's a lot of business downtown, awesome. Which is amazing. And as I said, it wasn't just the businesses that were happy. The people that came to town were super happy to see all the carvers out doing the carvings in real time, to be able to play at the games area. The ice games was a big hit. The Fire and Ice event was a smash. People were out in droves to see that as well. And just the smiles and the children's laughter while they were carving so fast and lighting things on fire. It was an event to witness for sure. And
so this event these aren't just people from Niles, right? That come to this thing. There are people come from all over the region, right?
That's right. With that data that I mentioned, we can see exactly where folks are coming from. And so we saw folks coming from as far away as Chicago, Fort Wayne, Bloomington. So people are coming from all over. Obviously, a lot of them come from our right. 49120 and surrounding area codes, which is awesome that the locals come out and get to enjoy a good time in their own backyard.
Awesome. And so also this can't happen without wonderful volunteers and sponsors. Can you talk about some of the sponsors that stepped up and made this happen?
You bet. We had lots of sponsors. I know because we don't have enough time to name every single one of them. I will just flag two of them. Modernier's been our presenting sponsor for the second year in a row, and Culver's has been the one that has donated the custard for the ice cream sales. Awesome. And so without those two and every other sponsor that has sponsored this event, we really couldn't do this.
Awesome. And so if people want to know more about the DDA, what it does, and upcoming DDA events, how can they find that out?
So they can go to the website. And the other best way is to come to meetings. It's really important to be engaged. Obviously, I'm going to preach this as someone who's on city council and on the DDA board. If you don't show up and you don't say what you want or what you need or have your questions and bring them to the table, actually come and be engaged in the conversation. That's how we get stronger as a community.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back. We're joined by some representatives of the Howard Township Baseball League. Guys, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Jason Riggins. I'm the current president here at the league.
And
Mike Cromer, board member.
all right, so the Howard Township Baseball League, what is it? How long has it been around, and what can people expect?
We are a local recreational baseball team, league, actually.
It's definitely kind of started as a local thing where you had in-town kids used to play FOP, which is right across the river here, and Howard kids out that way, out by Barron Lake, used to play Howard. With kind of the dissolvement of quite a few leagues around the area, Howard's obviously grown and kind of, I think now kind of the league in Niles that you play for.
And I think we've had Constantine, Elkhart, so we say local rec, but it really has kind of grown into a little bit of a monster where if you want to have some quality baseball in a quality place where you can play all your games in one spot, you're not having to drive, Bridgman here and there because, your local team only has maybe two teams in your division. No, you can play them all right here in our park. And that's a big deal these days because that's kind of going away for a lot of leagues.
And so kind of talk to me about when the season starts, how many teams are there, like what are the ages or divisions, things like that?
Yep. This year our season's going to start May 3rd and usually runs till about the third week of June for regular season plus playoff time around in there. And then All-Stars can run kind of towards the end of June on through all the way possibly to July. We do have 4 divisions right now. T-ball is just for 4-year-olds. As long as I get enough 4-year-olds to make enough teams, they are strictly T-ball, basic. Then we go 5 to 6 years old, which is our rookies division. That's a coach pitch, so it's a small step up. We do allow them to still do T if the kids really need it. Then from that point forward, we get into machine pitch 7 through 9, and then majors is 10 through 12. Last year, we had 6 teams at majors at 12 kids each, and pitching machine, we had 8 to 9 teams.
8 to 9 teams, I think, last year.
At 12 teams each, 12 kids per team. And
Yeah, last year we started a 14U team, which is a lot of leagues in the area had it, but Howard's never had a 14U division before, so we kind of put together really a lot of boys from Howard area and Niles that have never played together before. They've always been on different rec teams, different travel teams. Yep. Put them together, went and played, a lot of setup scrimmages, and then also in a local league here, Lake Effect League. And then this year we do have another 14U team. Scott Zavitz has put another team together, so we're trying to keep that kind of tradition going.
And so why do you think it's important to keep this going and have this opportunity for these kids to have this league in this space to grow?
It's really just having the fun with it, because we're both fully involved with travel, and it can be Friday, Saturday, Sunday of stressful baseball. It's a different level to have still some of those kids be able to choose to do travel. If you're not a travel type kid, this is, what you do. This is where you go play baseball.
Talk to me about signups. Are signups still going on? Is there room, things like that?
Yeah, we are, we just started January 1st. We've had a big group
We're up
of
to
kids.
135, I think.
Already. Yeah. So we're probably looking at halfway already in just the 20 some days. Registration is scheduled to go out till March 15th.
Okay.
But we have sold out the last 2 years for sure. And so we try to push everybody, hey, get on our Facebook. It's Howard Township Baseball League. We try and keep that the most accessible place for people to go find the information. We do have a website that links to that, but we post the most updated information right to our Facebook, and you can find all our links. Yep.
And so if people want to volunteer in any capacity, if it's like coaching or anything else, are you guys looking for volunteers and things like that?
For me, yeah, absolutely. We'll take, whether you want to be an official board member specifically yet or not, or you just want to come hang out and check it out, or, provide yourself as like, hey, I do this. Do you holler if you need something done?
I think we have in the years we've had electricians, sprinkler guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try to find like anybody that's involved and with that too, we're great. We love doing sponsorships. So if somebody wants to offer up electrical work and we give them a sponsorship of a team or put up a banner in our outfield, like that's huge. it's really helped the league kind of keep our funds up there a little bit without having to spend it all on maybe like we had a light go out on one field and we needed new wiring run all the way from the electrical box. So taking care of all that stuff and having volunteers to help is huge.
Well, thank you guys so much, and I wish you the best of luck this season and all the teams and everything, and we'll have you on again to maybe have a recap of how the season went.
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Hello and welcome back. We're joined by some of the wonderful people from Brandywine High School, the CTE Broadcast Journalism class. Why don't you folks introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Bob Ruff, and I'm the teacher.
My name is Chelsea Olson.
And my name is Stephanie Cruz.
Awesome. And so for the students, what grade are you students in?
Oh, I'm a sophomore currently.
Awesome.
And I'm a senior.
Excellent. All right. So you guys have this awesome opportunity in the CTE class here at Brandywine where you actually get to produce a podcast. And so I'll have Bob, the teacher, kind of go over an overview of what the class is and what exactly the students are producing.
Yeah, so in our broadcasting program, we have 3 courses. We have Intro to Broadcasting, where they learn some basic skills. Then we do Advanced Broadcasting, where they do more like news-related stuff. And then this year, new to the program, is an investigative journalism class, and that's what Chelsea and Stephanie are in, along with 35 other students. And the goal of the class was pretty unique. I came up with the idea from this class last year, and we created it so that these students are going to do something over the course of a full year where they're going to try to affect real change outside the walls of the school. So they were tasked at the beginning of the year with finding some situation. It doesn't have to be a true crime cold case, although that's what all 5 groups picked was a true crime cold case, that they can actually go through the process of investigating it long form over the course of a year, everything from filing FOIA requests to tracking down people to interview. And they're going to take all that information, do a full investigation, turn it into a podcast that'll be produced internationally when this is over with, where people can actually engage in it. And the goal is to actually do something good in the world, whether that's to highlight a case, to draw more attention to it, perhaps bring in more tips, or even through their investigative work to, ideally solve the case.
Yeah. And so, but you're no stranger to this yourself, so kind of go into your background a little bit and how you're uniquely qualified to help these students along this process.
Yeah, I don't think it was a surprise to anyone that I pitched this class when they asked me to teach it last year. My background, I host the Truth and Justice podcast, and I own NBI Studios here in Niles, and we produce a couple of other podcasts as well. But this is what I've been doing for the last 10 years is long-form investigative series. I cover typically wrongful conviction cases, but that's been my profession prior to coming into teaching, and I'm still doing that at the same time as well for the last decade.
Awesome. All right. And so to the students, and anybody can chime in, whoever wants to first, kind of explain the process you guys have taken and a little bit of background on the case that you've chosen.
I looked into cold cases or like unsolved murders, and I stumbled upon Jeanette's case on like the Michigan State Police like cold case website. And I was just reading it. I was like, wow, this case is like really interesting and such an odd like way to have like murder. And so I presented in front of the class, and 5 other students decided like, hey, we want to work on this case together.
Kind of go over for me what is the case? What are we looking at here?
So back in 1983, a young woman named Jeanette Robertson, she was 27 years old at the time. She was brutally murdered in the basement of her work at the Gamble's Hardware store up in Reed City, Michigan. This is the 42nd year that her case has gone unsolved.
Wow. And so what's it been like kind of going through this process? I'm sure you guys have listened to podcasts before or even like watched videos on some of these things. What's it like to be a part of this process and learn what actually goes into it, how it gets made?
I personally am very into true crime, so it was kind of exciting. I knew we had to investigate. It was kind of hard to look for the information, especially for Jeanette's case, because everything before we got the case file was redacted. And so it was also a very challenging process, considering we had to like scour everywhere we could to find information about pretty much everything, because everything about her case is kind of strange. So we had to like really try our hardest to find her sister. We had to find who was there and like other information.
And you know, as far as them getting the information, that's been one of the it's been really fulfilling for me to watch these students grow and do that. So there's actually a book written about this case.
Okay.
And the book is titled Redacted.
Oh.
Because the professional journalists and content creators that have covered this case in the past have never been able to get access to any of the actual case materials.
Really?
Sophomore Chelsea wrote a FOIA request that made it all the way through the state police, and she received a 166-page case file that no one in the world has ever seen before.
Wow.
They've also reached out and talked to, like they said, it's not by any means surface level.
Yeah.
Like you guys, they found the EMT that was the first one on the scene that day and got him on the phone and interviewed him. They've just done they've done incredible work in gathering information that no one's ever been able to get before.
That's awesome. And it's so incredible that you have this experience while you're in high school. Why do you think it's important to offer opportunities like this to students?
When you're in high school, you get to like really dip your foot into like different careers in the world, and I think that's really important. And like a class like this can really help pave a way for students to know what they want to do in the future. And I think that's really important for students, since really they don't have anything to go off of. Most students don't, at least once they graduate. So a class like this can like help push them into a direction they want to go in.
Maybe kids like took this class just to like try it out, and then they realize they have a passion for this. Like, I think we should really have more, like, a variety of CTE classes, so like people can like dip their feet into like the different careers that they didn't know that was out there.
Incredible. Awesome. And so tell us about when we can look for the podcast, where we might be able to find it, and if people want to help in any way and support, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, so hopefully within the next, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but within the next week at the very least, we're going to have the feed established. We're going to put out just a short introduction episode so people can get on and subscribe. It'll be available everywhere, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere where you get your podcasts. So if you just look up the Underestimated Podcasts, you should be able to find it and get subscribed. So when the episodes start dropping, you'll already be ready for them. And the way it's going to work, there's 5 different groups working on 5 different cases.
Okay.
And in this first phase, they're all putting out their first 3 episodes of 6.
Okay.
So the goal is over the course of a year, each group puts out 6 episodes.
Okay.
So we'll be putting them out in batches of 3. That should be coming. I was just talking to the groups before we came in here. I would say within the next 3 or 4 weeks, we should have the first set of 3 episodes coming out. And then they'll just keep building and building and building on that. So eventually you'll have 5 stories with 6 episodes apiece that are going to be coming out. The biggest thing we can do, honestly, the biggest thing we need for help is funding. If anybody can, is able to, one, advertise on the podcast, because part of their assignment is going to be to try to find local advertisers, or even anyone that can donate to the program just through Brandywine Community Schools. If they, let them know that you want to donate to the broadcast journalism program, because those FOIA requests that they file, they cost money. So they have eaten up the budget a lot. As a matter of fact, one of the groups, they're actually investigating an unsolved murder of a former Brandywine student from back in the 70s. And Miriam Peterson is the one who filed the FOIA request on that one. None of those case files are out there. She wrote a FOIA request that got approved, and they sent it to us, and they're going to give us a ton of stuff. But it was $5,000 for the entire case file, which meant we're like, well, we've got $500, and so we'll take just this piece of the case file. But there's a lot of expense that comes with this. We've burned up a lot of our budget just on FOIA requests, so that's a huge help to us.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk with me, and I know I'm excited. I'm a true crime junkie. Those are the mainly podcasts I listen to, so I'm excited for this to come out, so I have something else to listen to when I go on a walk or a long trip. So thank you guys so much, and good luck. Hello and welcome back to our business spotlight of the month. We are here with IE from Sticky Spoons Jam. IE, thanks for joining us and being part of the show this month.
Thanks, Chalk. It's good to see you again.
And so we'll jump right in. And for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what Sticky Spoons Jam is?
Sticky Spoons is a veteran-owned small batch jam and preserve company based here in Niles. We've been in business about 9 years. We started with the Michigan cottage food, and now we have our own licensed kitchen and storefront on Pucker Street in Niles.
Awesome. And it's a cool space here. They have the storefront, but then when people walk in, they can also see the kitchen and where the jam gets made back there. So it's just a neat little spot.
We wanted it to be, when we thought of building this, we wanted people to be able to come in, watch jam get made. And if you walk in the door and you want a sample of what we're making, go ahead and ask. We'll cool it down for you. Don't worry, we will. And we'll offer you samples all day long.
And so right now you have some strawberry lemonade jam being made back there. And what's kind of, it's all handmade. There's no like big machines that are squirting this jam into any of these containers, right? I saw you dump the jam into the containers and everything. Kind of what's the process like for a small handmade batch of jam?
Well, our biggest thing is we're locally sourced. So 95% of our fruits come from small family-owned farms in about a 30-mile radius of us. We know that food should be something you can read the label on. You should be able to see it, touch it, feel it, know what's in it. So we hand haul every strawberry that goes into our strawberry lemonade jam. We zest every lemon, we juice every lemon. Everything is done by hand because that's like a dying art. It's a dying art, but I like the idea that if somebody walked in, they can see the whole process and know that what's in the jar is what they see.
I know the story well, and I always love to hear it. So why jam? How did this all start?
It started with baby food. When my son was born, I decided to not feed him anything off the shelf, so I would get vegetables from Grandma and Grandpa's garden, my garden, and we'll make baby food. Then came the time for peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I was like, all 2 years hard work? Absolutely not. I will not do this. And I attempted jam making. I'm originally from Nigeria, and jam is not native to my home country. So let's just say the first few batches were a saucy mess. We had lots of pancakes and waffles that year, so they did get to be used. And after that, it just kind of picked up. My then manager bought a few jars to start, and the word got out. And here we are about 9 years later, over 150 flavors, and even more on my phone that I would like to make.
Awesome. And so why you're set up in Niles here? Why did you choose Niles to set up this kitchen and storefront?
Well, this is on my farm, so it makes it easier for me to get home and get to work. Kind of figure out that whole work-life balance thing we're all working on. And I mean, I live in Niles, so why not? I support the community. I support other small businesses. We collaborate with a lot of Niles businesses, and why go anywhere else?
I love it. And so speaking of those collaborations, I mean, anybody who follows sort of, some of the restaurants downtown is bound to see a Sticky Spoons jam recipe for like a cocktail or a burger pop up. What are some of those collaborations that you have with some of these businesses?
Iron Shoe, they made a blueberry lavender mojito last year that was to die for. I know that Second and Main has a cocktail with some of our jam. I don't remember the name right now. And Apotheca Tea has served our jams before. Looking forward to collaborating with Pizza Transit once my fig trees start to bear this year. And it's just, we're open to work with, I forgot, we did beer with Niles Brewing Company. They did an apple pie beer, which was fantastic. So you have a small business downtown, you want to work with me, just email me. I'll stop by.
I love it. Always easy to find. You're not quiet, so it's always easy to find you.
No, come on. I'm the jam lady. I will hug you. I will scream your name across a parking lot, even if it's at Costco. But it's just remembering that we're a community, and I'm a part of it.
I love it. And we love that you're part of our community. And so aside from the storefront here and those businesses that you've collaborated with, you're going like gangbusters and growing all across the region. Where else can people find your jam in stores?
In stores, we are in stores all the way from Battle Creek to
Lansing now, right?
Lansing. Yeah, we just got into the MSU Dairy store. They're carrying blueberry lavender and strawberry jalapeno to start. And we'll see what happens. I think that once people get hooked on those two, they'll want more. So I'm looking forward to working with them even more.
Awesome. And you're in the Olga's Kitchen.
Olga's, oh my gosh, that was amazing. They made this menu item based off of my jam. And I drove an hour to go sample it, and I tried not to lick the plate. No, I didn't. I didn't lick the plate, but let's just say I scraped it clean. And that was truly an honor that a large chain like that would see a small business like mine and say, we want to work with you.
That's awesome. So we'll plan a road trip, my family and I, and we're going to go up there and test it out.
Yes, please do.
Yes. And so what's your favorite part of this process, of the jam making process?
I think it's working with local farms. I like that I built relationships with local farms. Are like a dying thing. And knowing that generation of work and sweat has gone into growing my blueberries or growing my peaches or my apples, that brings me joy. It really does. Overall, I like to say that watching someone sample one of my flavors and losing their minds brings me the utmost joy. If you curse the first time you sample the apple pie jam, you've made my year. You really have. I've watched people curse and then clutch their pearls, and that was fun.
What is there a standard amount that you make each time, or what's kind of that like when you make a batch? Is there a certain number of jars, and how long does that process take?
Yes, when you make a batch, there's a certain number of jars. So, for example, our strawberry jam makes 33 jars, 33 8-ounce jars from start to finish, which means all the fruit's pre-prepped, so we don't have to haul strawberries on the same day and then make jam the same day. But from weighing to cooking, jarring, and canning, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. And so people can go on your website and order, is that correct?
Yes, you can order on stickyspoonsjam.com. You can come to our store. But if you're looking for a store closer to you, go to our website, and under our retail outlets, you can find the 24 stores that carry our jam.
24 stores. Amazing. Is there anything else you want people to know about what Sticky Spoons Jam is and what you do?
Jam is not just for bread. We have created such variety that you can come in here and tell me what you're trying to cook, and we have a jam for it. Whether you want to make chicken, pork, you want to make a cocktail, baked brie, you name it, we have a jam for you. So even if you don't eat bread, I know a lot of people don't want carbs in the new year, we have a jam for you.
Awesome. And some of it's just so good, you'll probably just use a spoon and eat it out of the jar.
Apple pie jam. That's, you just open it, take the spoon, and we watch and we don't judge.
It's a judge-free zone. I love it. Awesome. Well, Ai, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and being the business spotlight this month. And for more information, you can visit stickyspoonsjam.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you for tuning in to this month's edition of Hello Niles. We hope you enjoyed our journey through the heart of this amazing community. Join us next month as we uncover more stories and special events from Niles. Until then, keep exploring and embracing the spirit of our wonderful town.